you can see that there's no assumption that you actually want to, you intentionally share. You see? See, the beautiful thing about what it is that's presented here and how it's presented by me is that I'm showing you real world how this should be a complement to anything that you're doing, as opposed to it being something that is the thing. Because that's where the problem is. The problem is the company has a desire to move their products and services to the market, and then they do it through people. And so they offer this great opportunity to people. And what happens is the people are running with the opportunity, and they see the opportunity to quote unquote build teams. But they never understood the basis of business is having a real product or real service that's being offered to the market. And so in turn, they're not building out a real business. They're operating as if it's something of a money play, a money game, which is why I call most companies pseudo pyramid schemes, because they don't actually have products or services that those people would actually buy were it not for the opportunity that they saw. And so the first thing is to recognize that I respect you for who you are and what you do. And I gave you this recommendation as a compliment to your life because your health is your wealth. I've given you this recommendation because there's a cash flow danger that now people are talking about with inflation, with salaries being stagnated, and now having to talk about what raises are going to be. Those are cash flow things that now people are talking about, but I wrote about that in my book because I said it's the cash flow danger no one is talking about, but now people are talking about. And so with that said, my desire is recognizing that recognizing that finances are 80% behavior, 20% know-how. My desire is to help people to create new habits, because those new habits will allow them to do the best with what they have. Because the reality is, it doesn't matter how many opportunities are available, most people won't follow through with opportunities because there's a mental shift that has to take place. One has to get into the mindset of being responsible. One has to be, now we go to Think and Grow Rich. One has to be in the mindset of having a definite purpose. And then that definite purpose has to be backed up with definite plans. And then those definite plans then have to be executed on a consistent basis in order to bring about the result that one desires. And so recognizing all those things, those of us that understand it are in a position to, one, make recommendations and create a sustainable book of business when we have something with real products, with real customers who really love them. And we're able to bring our value in the development of people to cause those people to increase their value, which in turn allows us to now build an army of leaders versus followers. But that's development versus training. So it's the long-term play that should happen like this when I get smart people who understand what it is that I've laid out. Because there's no investment, there's no overhead, there's no selling, there's no recruiting, there's no inventory, there's no order taking, there's no, chasing down family and friends and trying to get them to do you a favor. It's simply causing people to come to the awareness that it makes sense to buy something from a maker versus from a retailer. Intuitively, you've got to get the head nod on that first point. Do you agree that when you buy something from a store, it's marked up. Do you understand that's how business works? And then if you understand that, you realize those things that are in the store came from someone who in turn made their money from that. And then the person that's now selling it out to the market have their own markup. And their markup is greater than for the maker, because the most money is in the distribution side of things versus the making piece. So if you get that head nod on that, it's like, okay, that makes sense. Well, then next thing is, well, does it make sense that if we can look at all the things your money is currently being spent on, and you're able to save money, save time, and get better quality products. In other words, you're not giving up anything. Would you consider buying all that you can directly from the manufacturer versus holding on to a name brand that you can determine if it's actually how it's actually impacting you in a negative way, especially when we isolate something such as cleaning products or deodorant or skincare. Those things can be isolated because we can do a quick search and we can pull up things in the news to show. As recent as 2021, July, when Johnson & Johnson had recalls on their sunscreen because they had things in there, benzene, that in turn was harmful. Then we can look at November when Procter & Gamble recalled their deodorants. And we can go to December and pull up Procter & Gamble, who recalled their hair care items. So if we understand that, and then we're able to communicate that as educators, we're getting, it's the intent of just bringing people awareness up, independent of whether or not we give them a recommendation of what to do. We still gave them something that was better in their best interest. But, oh, by the way, I'm not going to leave you hanging. Why am I going to give you all this and it cause you now to be stressed out or have you trying to figure it out? Now you got to go online and Google, and now you're getting information from someone that hasn't even done the work of educating you. It's like someone learning about my book and then in turn going on Amazon, buying it on Amazon. I'm like, hey, why are you giving Amazon my money? They didn't do the work. You didn't get the message from them. You didn't. Yes, that my book's on Amazon, but that's because of all the people that don't get my voice, that don't actually meet me, don't actually know anything about me. Otherwise, unless you just don't like me, go to my website and buy direct. And I'll give you a signed copy. So it's recognizing that there is a lack of understanding, and that's where the opportunity lies, to be able to build something that's sustainable, that's sellable, willable, transferable. And it allows me to do all those things that I teach in my book, right? So that's why this is a tool that I use in order to help people to implement what I teach. And it doesn't conflict with anything anyone's doing, because I'm not trying to convince people to go out and make money, but I am trying to say, if you got value from what I shared, if that makes sense, then why not share it with other people